Hey guys, Mike here, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't like it. Don't thumbs down, that'd be really mean. Let's get into today's video where I am talking all about the Mortal Kombat movie that I saw last night. Let's get into it. Okay, so any gamer knows that historically video game adaptations on the big screen tend to be really bad. Super Mario Bros. Is probably the best example of this. This is like a totally forgotten film that Nintendo obviously never references because I'm sure it is damaging to the Super Mario brand, which is such an exceptionally strong brand. But this movie was an absolute flop. There have been movies about Street Fighter, Tomb Raider, and many other game franchises over the years, and very few of them have managed to make any headway in terms of being good films. I'm actually looking at a list now on Rotten Tomatoes of video game-based films, and I'm just gonna take a quick glimpse at what has been made and whether it's good or bad. Silent Hill, bad. Hitman, bad. Max Payne, bad. Doom, bad. Assassin's Creed, you guessed it, bad. Resident Evil, bad. Ratchet and Clank, bad. Need for Speed. All right, I'll give you 1 second to guess. Time's up, it's bad. Warcraft, bad. I feel like a broken record, but Monster Hunter, bad. In fact, I would actually argue that until the Sonic the Hedgehog movie and the Detective Pikachu movie very recently, there has never been a truly great movie based on a video game. Sonic the Hedgehog and Detective Pikachu totally changed this up. Both of those were really good quality films that were faithful to the source material but accessible for new audiences as well, which I think is really important. Because when you try to make a movie based on a game, I guess you want to appeal, of course, to the people who love the games, but you also want to appeal to other people who aren't familiar with the games and make a movie that is accessible to people who have not played the games. As far as I can tell, there have been 2 live-action Mortal Kombat movies before this, both of which were not particularly successful. The first one was a little bit more successful than the sequel, and this one, Mortal Kombat from this year, has been in development hell for almost 2 decades and has finally hit the big screen. So I guess in the interest of transparency, I should tell you exactly what my experience with Mortal Kombat is going into this film. I am a huge gamer, and I feel like one of the reasons I loved the Sonic the Hedgehog movie and the Detective Pikachu movie was because I've played a lot of the Sonic games. I'm really familiar with the source material, and I've played a lot of the Pokemon games, and I'm really familiar with the source material. So I feel like as a fan, there are a lot of little Easter eggs and things that you pick up on that kind of make the experience a little bit better for you than the average person who isn't familiar with it. The experience with Mortal Kombat is the following: Sub-Zero, Scorpion, the guy with metal arms, that's it. I don't really know much more about it except for fatalities and really gory fatality scenes that you use as finishes at the end of a match.
Fatality.
I guess as a kid, I wasn't playing much Mortal Kombat, and if I was playing a fighting game, it would more than likely have been Super Smash Bros. If not Tekken 3 on the PlayStation 1, which was awesome, or Tekken Dark Resurrection on the PSP. Very fun. I still remember the combo I used to use as the panda character, but let's not get into that in this video. I'll start this by saying that I think if you were a huge fan of Mortal Kombat, you would have absolutely loved this film. But if you don't really know anything about Mortal Kombat, you're probably not gonna really like or understand this movie very much at all. I guess based on what I knew about the film, the main thing I wanted was to see Sub-Zero and Scorpion, because they were the only 2 characters I knew. And luckily for me, Sub-Zero appears almost immediately as the movie begins. You know, because a lot of the characters comment on how cold it is, and suddenly a man with abnormal ice powers appears and freezes a lot of stuff. And I turned to my girlfriend and said, I think that's Sub-Zero. But Scorpion doesn't really appear until much later in the film, and I guess every single time a new character appeared on screen, I would kind of look at my girlfriend and be like, I think this is Scorpion. I'm pretty sure this guy must be Scorpion. Okay, if that guy from before wasn't Scorpion, I reckon this guy is probably Scorpion. I'm really surprised we haven't seen Scorpion yet. I'm sure he'll probably be in it. So, oh, is this Scorpion? No, that's not Scorpion, that's Sub-Zero. That was literally me for the whole movie. I'm not even joking or exaggerating or making it up. But I guess you can probably sense my excitement when Scorpion actually appears on screen for the first time and actually says, "I'm Scorpion." That was pretty much my reaction. I will say that obviously as a fighting game, one of the key achievements of this film is doing some really incredibly choreographed fight scenes that work really, really well. They're often quite gory. In fact, there are 2 points in this film where something incredibly gory happens straight out of a slasher or a horror film, and they were really great moments that I felt like were really true to what this game series was about. I think one of the main points of confusion for me as a non-fan of Mortal Kombat was a lot of the characters wore very similar styled costumes, and I just got very lost and confused about who was actually who and whose powers were who. But yeah, I guess that would be more clear if you knew the game and if you had played the game and knew the characters. Again, I think there are almost certainly, and I plan on watching a YouTube video about it after I record this, but there are almost certainly many little Easter eggs littered throughout this movie, but I obviously didn't pick up on them. There is one at the end that I obviously did recognize that's like, I guess, on a similar level of like Tails appearing at the end of the Sonic film. But overall, I didn't pick up on too much outside of the main plot. The absolute standout of this entire film was the character Kano, played by fellow Australian Josh Lawson. In fact, I do want to do a quick shout out that a lot of this movie was shot in South Australia. I am from Australia, and I thought it was really cool that a movie based on a franchise of this magnitude, and Mortal Kombat is a huge, huge game franchise, is being shot in Australia. I thought that was really cool. A lot of Australian actors and actresses are in this film, and I think that's great. But Josh Lawson, you absolutely blew it out of the park with this film. You are the starring role in this movie, in just an incredibly well-written character in Kano. Some of the funniest lines and absolutely one of the most engaging characters. Well, no, the most engaging character in the film. And one of the only characters that I actually enjoyed watching on screen. Like, I didn't really find many of the other characters too endearing.
You got a pen? You want to write this down? Get fucked.
I guess Jax has this character arc where his arms are frozen off by Sub-Zero, which is how he ends up with those iconic metal arms that he has from Mortal Kombat 3. And I think that was kind of cool, but it didn't really feel like there was that much character development there that led to it. Like, basically, he gets his arms off, then he has no arms, then he has these weak metal arms, and then over time, he's like complaining about he can't use the arms, and then they become really big, strong arms, and it's just like, I don't know, it just felt like really forced character development that didn't work too well. Kano, on the other hand, just plays this incredible, smart, talking, villain-style character that's full of profanity, and just, to me, really stood for what the Mortal Kombat franchise is. Like, really just brash and violent and gory and obsessed with fighting. I liken this film to a musical, whether that be on stage or on screen. You know how in musicals, characters just break into song with no warning? Well, in Mortal Kombat, characters don't break into song with no warning, they break into fight with no warning. A lot of the dialogue just spurs into characters being like, well, maybe we should fight about it, and then they have a quick fight and then they move on. Essentially the same way characters break into song into musicals, they break into fight in this movie. The fights are really engaging. A lot of the characters are super cool in Mortal Kombat. Like, Sub-Zero is great, Scorpion's great, Kano's great. All of their powers are great. Like, it's not just a straightforward fighting movie. Like, they have essentially superpowers in this film. And I thought a lot of that was good, but overall, as someone who is not too familiar with the Mortal Kombat canon, I was a little bit bored through some of this, and I definitely wouldn't watch it again. I would love to find out a few more of the Easter eggs. As I said, I'm sure they're littered in there, but I definitely don't think this one holds up next to something like Detective Pikachu or Sonic in the way of video game films. So we're gonna put that down here, while those two probably sit up here. And I think at the moment, in terms of video game movies I've seen in the past 3 to 4 years, it goes Sonic, Detective Pikachu, Mortal Kombat. But what did you think of the movie? Are you a fan of Mortal Kombat, the games? Have you played them? Did you like it more because of that? Or did you like it less because of that? Let me know in the comments below. What is your favorite video game movie as well? I'd be interested to know that. Have you seen any others? Have you seen the Super Mario one? Let me know. Please subscribe to my channel. We are slowly working our way up, baby. Please subscribe. Lend me a hand. There's a Patreon as well. Go check out my channel. I do all kinds of pop culture videos, some of which I will put on the screen now. But for now, I will speak to you later. My name's Radio Mike. Goodbye.
But I went to run my hand through your hair and I noticed you were attached to string. You were a puppet this whole time, you were attached to string.